So thank you so much. I just mentioned I'm excited that you're all here. I really do appreciate that. My name is Heather. I'm the User Success and Digital Learning Manager here at Cheddar Up, and I'm glad that you guys hopped on for a learning session. So I did go ahead and shoot out an email and just wanted to personally invite people because this is what I get to do every day. And so twice a week I hold these learning sessions, and I love it when we can get users on and ask questions and just kind of have a conversation, right? That said, this is a relatively large group of people, so I do want to make sure I'm making the best use of your time. So typically what I do in a walkthrough, and that's what most of you guys signed up for today. So typically what I do in a walkthrough is I go ahead and I'm going to pull up the Cheddar Up dashboard, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit right away just about getting started. We have two different account types, and I like to define those for people. Then I'm going to show you our dashboard, and I'm going to walk through some of the terminology on that. I'll give you a quick run through of different ways that people use Cheddar Up. I'm also going to go over some of our terminology. It's important that you understand some of the lingo in Cheddar Up because it just helps you understand our product a little bit better. And then what I want to do is I want to go into our builder, and I'm going to build what we call a collection. We'll do it relatively quickly, but I'll go through the different components so you see all of the different components. And then finally, I'll end with a couple of things. It's helpful if you're using Cheddar Up to gather money and to gather information, then you kind of want to see what it all looks like, right, on the back end. So I do want to make sure I show you what we call a manage view. So that's when you could see like a collection that actually has money and information gathered on it. And then the last thing I'll do is we'll talk a little bit about reporting. There's two different places I'm going to touch on reporting today, okay? But when I get to the end of the call, I'm going to show you guys something called a collection summary report. And that's a really nice Excel spreadsheet that gives you a whole bunch of information related to the money and the information you're collecting using Cheddar Up. Okay, so, and I know there's another person on here. Megan is on here, and she is a member of our customer support team. So she's helping me with chat. So if you have specific questions and you need to go a little bit more specific, Megan's going to try to answer those questions for you. I am going to stop during this call and look at chat as well. But depending on how active you guys are, I may not be able to get everything. So we've got Megan here too. Um, the other thing I'll mention at the end of our call is how do you get a hold of us again, right? Because you're not always going to take an hour out of your day to come talk to me. I get that. And so I do want to make sure you know how you can find us online when you want to connect with us, when it's on your schedule as well. Okay. So I'll make sure I touch base on that. If I cover something and you really just want to stop me real quick and ask me a question, I'm okay with that, but I do have a little bit of a format today that I'm going to try to stick to because of timing, and I want to make sure I cover everything. So maybe drop it into the chat if you have a specific question when I'm at a certain place. But if you're really like your heart's desire is saying, Heather, I got to know right away, go ahead and just interrupt me and ask me the question. Okay? All right. I got a couple more people hopping on, so I'm going to let them on. I am going to go ahead and just mute you guys just because of the size of the call. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up our Cheddar Up dashboard. And if there's anybody else who wishes I was going in a completely different direction, throw that into chat and I'll try to cover it a little bit. The only other thing I wanted to mention was I did go ahead and I have looked through your registration on Zoom when you signed up for the call. That said, I did have a lot of people sign up, so I didn't quite get able to cross-reference everybody that's directly on this call and also that, you know, what you put on your Zoom registration. I will mention, some of you I think mentioned point of sale. So that is a specific type of collection you can create in, or any collection can be a point of sale collection, but it's a certain type of features that you might want to know a little bit more about. So there are a couple of spots where I can dive into point of sale. I won't cover it in a very broad conversation, but I can dig into it a little bit further at the end of the call if people stick around and you really need to know a little bit more about point of sale. Okay? Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and I hope everybody can see. I went ahead and I did pull up the Cheddar Up dashboard. Okay, so everyone right now should be looking at the Cheddar Up dashboard. And there's a couple of things I want to make sure everybody understands right away. So when you first get started with Cheddar Up, you go to our website. You go to cheddarup.com, and then in the top right-hand corner, you're going to do something like create an account or sign up. It's going to say, okay? There's two things to understand immediately when you sign up with us. You're going to have a choice between two different account types. You can pick what we call an organization account, or you can pick an individual account, okay? Now, on our end, we don't really care which one you pick. It doesn't matter. On your end, though, you are going to want to think a little bit about it. If you are an organization or the member of an organization and you have an EIN number for your group or your organization, you're going to most likely want to go the organization account type, okay? If you do not have an EIN, you're a small group, you're running a reunion, you're just gathering a little bit of money on behalf of a small group, you're coordinating a group gift for the office or something like that. That's fine. In that instance, you'll pick individual, okay? Primary thing to note about the accounts, if you have an EIN, go organization. If you don't, go individual. And one other thing that's nice to understand. Let's say that you are an organization and you go the organization account route. You can transfer the account when you're moving off of it. So let's say your job is to get set up, right? You're the one that's getting set up with Cheddar Up. You're the one that's set with your group. I'll go ahead and do some digging and I'll get the account made and everything. Well, that's great, but you might not be with your organization long term. So maybe you're a volunteer, maybe you're an employee, and you won't be in that role long term. When you move off of your role and you are no longer going to be working in Cheddar Up, you, the account owner, as long as you have an organization account type, you can transfer yourself off of the account and put a new person on, okay? So this is very, very helpful. For instance, some people maybe in the past you've been using a different platform and you've got like a weird Google Voice number and everybody's trying to exchange and share the Google Voice number and all of that. You don't need to do that in Cheddar Up. You just put your own personal account details on. When you move off, the new person puts theirs on and you take yours off, okay? You do need an organization account type to be able to transfer your account with us, okay?
Great.
Okay, I see a couple people are not hearing me or seeing me. I hope that you have sorted through that. I believe everybody else is in an okay spot. So you might want to check your audio. If you're still not hearing or seeing anything, maybe hang up and join us again, okay? That sometimes your system doesn't set up properly right away. So you might need to do that. Okay, so right now I mentioned how to get started, right? Once you create that account, thank you, Larry. Once you create that account in Cheddar Up, you're now in our dashboard. Okay, this is the dashboard. It looks the same for everybody. It doesn't matter if you are a nonprofit, if you're a school, if you're a small business, if you're a fundraising group. Everyone sees the same view with us. We're going to talk a lot about this word collection today. I'm going to go a little bit further into that. And that's a really important word to understand in Cheddar Up. You're going to see it everywhere with us, okay? I'll define that a little bit further. But the other thing I want to talk a little bit about is some of these other components and features you see here on our dashboard, okay? So right now, this is my primary dashboard. I have something called folders. Folders are internal to you, the organizer, okay? So when you create a folder, no one can see it but you. But I always like to tell people we don't have an archive button. So I don't like to delete collections as much as I like you to organize them into folders so you can come back to them whenever you need, okay? So you can label your folders whatever you want, but what most people do is they'll kind of build these folders and then like maybe they'll label one 2025, right? Last year. As you move through us and you use this year after year, you might take those, you might take some of those collections and drop them because you can replicate them. You can reuse collections. You can put what we call items into a library and reuse those as well. So a lot of this I prefer to say to people, organize, don't delete, okay? Okay, Steve, I see your question. If you are starting with us and you don't have your EIN right away, that's okay. You can go ahead and set up your organization account with us, Before you go to take money off the system, it is going to force you to verify everything, but you do have a little bit of that wiggle room. You can play around and get started before you need to have all of that taken care of yet, okay? Okay, couple of things to note. Let's do a quick walkthrough. So on the far left-hand side, we do have something called managers. Now here's something I didn't mention just yet. Cheddar Up has 3 subscription plans, okay? If you want to see what those plans are, you can come to our website and you can go to our pricing page. Okay, take a look here. This is our pricing page. Everything with Cheddar Up when it comes to pricing and fees, totally transparent. Just go to our website and look at pricing. We have 3 subscription plans that you might want to pick from, okay? You're going to automatically, with us, be started. Oh, I got somebody else in the waiting room. 1 second, let me let her in. You're going to automatically be started with us on our free basic plan, okay? And then you can play around with it. You do not have to upgrade until you get to a point where there's a feature you would like to use. You can even play around with some of our features before you decide to upgrade. Everybody starts first on the free plan, okay? Couple of things to note. I am on our team subscription plan right now, so I do have access to everything, okay? I will point out to you as I go along where some of the features are that I'm showing you that are upgraded features on the pro or team plan, okay? But it is helpful to kind of understand here's where you start and here's where you might grow. Okay, you want to think about whether or not you're creating fundraisers, whether or not you're gathering money for different purposes. Lots of people kind of start on a pendulum as an organizer. You start over here, you're in the basics, you don't need a lot of features. And then slowly over time, you do sometimes grow into other roles or into other feature sets, and then you need to upgrade. Okay, so yeah, let's look here. Matt, I'm on the managers right now, okay? So on our managers, what you can do is you need to be on the team plan, but you can add on as many additional people as you want onto your account to be managers. They can have different roles or permissions. We have 3 permissions: admin, editor, or viewer. Now, these are the people that need access all year long. Maybe you want them to run their own fundraisers. You want them to gather their own money. You want them to coordinate their own volunteers. But you, as the account owner, do want to have some oversight. Maybe you want to do more of a checks and balances. One person is going to be the account owner, and maybe a treasurer is going to be an admin as well, okay, as a manager. There is something else in Cheddar Up that we call an event code. So sometimes maybe you're running a point of sale event. That means you're taking money in person from people. You can use a card reader with Cheddar Up that you can order, or you can just use your mobile phone and take a tap on mobile a payment. In that instance, you have people sometimes that you need to help, just that one event, right? That one collection. That's something we're going to call an event code. I can talk about that a little bit later, but the nice thing is those helpers that just show up to help you on the day of an event, or you got a bunch of people that are just going to take payments one time for you, they don't need to be a manager, okay? I'll show you something called an event code a little bit later on that works with our point of sale solution. I keep on saying that word point of sale. If you haven't heard that term before, I do recommend you just do a general online search for point of sale. It's basically anytime you want to take an in-person payment from someone, you might do a tap on mobile or you might order a card reader, but it's a general financial term for taking payments in person from people, okay? So that's how manager works. We do have something else called a group page. Now, this is something to think about as well, because on a group page, you want to think a little bit about all your links, okay? Every time you build a collection in Cheddar Up, that's that word again, you're creating a web page that you're using to gather money or information. Maybe you're going to do both. Maybe you're running a fundraiser. Maybe you're collecting dues. Maybe you're running a camp and you need people to pay registration. Maybe you're a sports team. At the end of the day, though, you're building what we call a collection, which is a unique web page to help you gather that money and information. Every collection has its own link. Now, sometimes if you're going to have multiple links, you might want to think about where you're going to house those. Okay, so we do have a feature called a group page. This is on the team plan, and this is an example of the group page. It's like a mini website or landing page for your organization. You can brand it. You can put your own images on it. You can put all of your collections, so all of your different links for your organization or for your account in one spot, okay? Now you're going to get a single link or URL, and then multiple collections can be underneath it, but all you need to do is share one link over time, okay? That's up to you though. You might have your own website. Maybe you don't need a group page. Then you don't need it, right? This is on the team subscription plan. You can put all your collections here. You can highlight different collections. You can show how much money you've collected. You can put some information about your mission, your board, and even if you wanted to, your sponsors, okay? Okay, so this is group page. It's on the team plan. Okay, so can you have multiple group pages on one team plan? So if you are a school district, one thing I didn't mention, let's look real quickly at our pricing. And this is appropriate to other types of groups as well. We have 3 subscription plans. So we have a basic, a pro, and a team, but we also have something called partner. If you are a larger organization with multiple individual entities underneath you, for example, Girl Scout Council, multiple Girl Scout troops, school district, multiple schools, right? You may be interested in our partnership opportunity with us. You'll get all the same features I'm showing you today, but you'll also be able to put individual organization accounts with separate EINs or not underneath your parent organization. So that would give you child organizations under your parent. So Kirsty, if you're looking at that as different group pages, partner might be the best place for you because then each individual school could each have their own individual group page, okay? You do want to think about whether or not you need that partnership opportunity or not with us. It is a parent and a child organization setup. Okay, related to the card readers, good question. You do need the Cheddar Up card reader, okay? It is programmed to work with the Cheddar Up mobile app, and any old card reader will not work. The Cheddar Up mobile app is free, available on Android and on Apple, but you do need to use the reader with the app. Now, the other thing you can think about is the reader might be something you grow into. Maybe you start with just our mobile app and you're doing tap on mobile and using that event code. And then at some point, maybe you grow into the card reader down the road, okay? Okay, so group page. All right, thank you. Megan's doing a really nice job on all this. Thanks, Megan. Okay, that was group page. Let's look quickly at reports, but I'm really going to dive into a different report a little bit later on that you're really going to like, collection summary report. We do have a full reports dashboard in Cheddar Up. You can slice and dice your money data, your information data, all of that in different ways. If you're on the team plan, you will get access to account-wide and reconciliation reports across the entire account. If you're on Pro or Basic, you'll see each of your collections separately here, and you can still dig into your data on a collection by collection basis, okay? So this is one place you can go. The second place you can go for reporting is on our Manage view that I'll show you a little bit later on in the call. Okay, so that's a walkthrough of the dashboard. I'm going to talk now about different ways you can use Cheddar Up, and we're going to look at different use cases, okay? Just check in chat too. I know Megan's on top of it. I'm just perusing to see if there's anything I need to cover as well. Group page is not available, Jack, on the team plan, on the free plan. You do need to be on the team plan for that. But everybody can build collections on the free plan, and that's where most people start. So I will show you that today. I'll show you that now, okay? Okay, so when I say the word collection, it's a web page that you build to gather money or information, one or the other or both. We have all different types of collections you can create. You are the collector because you're the one getting this all set up. You know in your head, what do I need? Do I need to collect money? Do I need to collect information? Do I need both on a single collection? Do I need one or the other, right? Maybe here's an example of an information only collection. And what we're doing on this one is we're running a sign up. So you can use Cheddar Up for sign-ups and forms. It would be an information only collection. You can create a sign-up schedule. You could associate this with a money collection, or you could just use it completely on its own. Organize and coordinate all your volunteers through our different sign-up schedules, or you can do sign-up slots. You can do forms, and you can do waivers, and you can gather e-signatures if you need to with us as well. This is an example of a information or form only collection, okay? Something else I want to show you, but I'm not going to do a deep dive on this. There's something else you can do with Cheddar Up called running a peer-to-peer fundraiser. That's another common term you're going to see if you just do a Google search. Peer-to-peer fundraising. What does that mean? A peer-to-peer fundraiser is when you have your organization and you have a fundraiser where you're trying to raise money, but you also want to activate the members of your community as participants with their own unique fundraising pages. Typically in Cheddar Up, you'll build a collection. It's one web page. If you do peer-to-peer, you can have multiple participants, each with their own fundraising page. Here's an example of a peer-to-peer fundraiser. This one is a readathon. Do you see I have all these different participants? And each one of these participants has their own unique fundraising goal, their own unique fundraising page. And you, the organizer, you're setting all of this up. You're deciding, yes, I want to run a peer-to-peer. Yes, I want to allow all these images. I want to have separate information for each kid to put in here. Maybe I want a peer-to-peer because I'm at a school and I have multiple students. Maybe I'm a sports team. Maybe I'm a Boy Scout troop and I want to have each kiddo have their own page, right? So there's lots of different reasons why you might run a peer-to-peer fundraiser. We have a lot of really, really great functionality when it comes to peer-to-peer fundraising, okay? 3 types of peer-to-peer fundraisers you can run with Cheddar Up. A flat donations. Every participant's just trying to gather money for something. Product sales. Maybe you want each individual person within your community to sell something. Wreaths, poinsettias, plants, bulbs, things like that, okay? And then maybe you want to run what we call an a-thon, activity-based. An a-thon would be an activity-based fundraiser where you're gathering pledges up front. Somebody finishes an activity, and then you go back to those donors and collect the money from them, okay? So that's peer-to-peer. I'm not going to go far in depth on that either, but I do want to point out another really nice resource with Cheddar Up. I'm not sure if you guys have checked out our YouTube page. If you're still doing investigation with us and you want to learn more about all these different features I'm talking about today, I highly recommend that you go to our YouTube channel, okay? You're going to see lots of short little videos. Not all of them are this full hour long. We break up peer-to-peer in a short mini series. Point of Sale has a nice 3-minute video as well. But please check out our YouTube so you can just kind of see a lot of these different features a little bit more in depth. Okay, how we doing? I'm going to check real quickly chat, and then we're going to dive into one specific type of collection in Cheddar Up that has a little bit of everything. So you'll get to see all the different components. Yeah, so Kirsty, if you wanted to set up a peer-to-peer fundraiser, you could add on a manager and you could have one manager be assigned to one of your peer-to-peer fundraisers. Yes, you could even have multiple managers run multiple peer-to-peers. It's up to you. So you have lots of flexibility as long as you're on the team plan. Okay, Rebecca, I think, and Megan, chime in on this one. I think there's a setting on your peer-to-peer where um, you can hide, oh, I'd have to look. I think you can hide the amount of money, but I know there is a little bit of settings on that individual participant page where you can adjust what the public sees. So I would go to your peer-to-peer settings and see if you can adjust that. Okay, Megan's on top of it. All right, let's look at this fundraiser. This isn't a fundraiser. This is a collection that does a little bit of everything. Okay, I like this one because I can show you lots of different components and features in Cheddar Up. Please don't worry so much about the topic of this one. You are the organizer. You're thinking, okay, I've got to build a collection. What are the things I need? Do I need money? Do I need information? What we like to do at Cheddar Up, I like to say it's kind of like a bunch of ingredients. You're the chef, you're in the kitchen, you're pulling all those ingredients together to create your masterpiece meal, right? And we're going to give you all those ingredients and you're going to choose which ones you need to build the collection that best suits your needs. I will show you in our builder, you can go into a little bit of what we call recipe cards as well. But in this collection today, I'm just going to kind of walk you through multiple different components, okay? So this is the collection page that you would share after you built it and you got a link. You would share this with your general public. Here's some of the things you can do on collections. You can add up to 4 banner images and a video. This is a banner image here. This is your details section. If you're going to run a collection, especially online, you want text information to explain to people why you're running this collection, right? So this is where you include your text information. You can have PDFs here. You can, pardon me, include an attachment to a PDF. You can also add links here, okay? Now, on the far right-hand side, you'll see what we call information blocks. Maybe you have an in-person event and you want to run a location. Maybe you want to run a date and time. Maybe you want to put an FAQ. Maybe you want to show a participant list. I don't have that one turned on here. But you can turn these information blocks on and off for each one of the collections that you build, okay? Okay, now let's take a look at our sections in our collection. These are sections, we call them categories. I'm going to gather money on this collection, and you have to put something called an item on a collection. But sometimes you might want to organize your items, that's the things you're selling, into categories or sections because you want to break it all up a little bit, okay? That's what I have here. I have a collection with multiple categories and several items. Now, on the free basic plan, you can have 5 items on a collection, and you can have as many collections as you want. Once you upgrade to Pro or Team, you can have an unlimited number of items on a single collection, okay? Okay, a couple other things to note here. Look at over here. You can run inventory using Cheddar Up. So you can indicate a quantity and you can tell people how many you have left of that quantity. You can run wait lists. Maybe you want to see if everybody has an interest in something and you want to generate that wait list. You can do that as well. Okay, I mentioned you can use Cheddar Up to gather money and information. I showed you a sign up, a sign up that was just run on its own, but you can also capture information alongside payments. So here's an example. Right here on this item, I'm asking a question. Now, what's going to happen? I'm the payer. I'm the person coming to your collection. I'm going to put this item into my shopping cart, and you're going to also gather some information from me. Maybe you need an address. Maybe you're a school and you need a teacher's name. Maybe you need a t-shirt size because you're running a reunion, right? These are just small little questions you might need to ask somebody when they go to put something in their shopping cart, okay? Oh, I see your questions, Leslie. You're asking about how things are going to show up on the credit card bill. There is a specific setting that you can turn on, and we recommend people to do that so that so that Cheddar Up doesn't show. Instead, your organization shows. Okay. Yes, Kirsty, you can make the shopping cart ask certain questions. That's what I'm doing right here, okay? I can come here and I can add on questions. Now, the other thing you can do, you can also add on a form, okay? So look at this. Sometimes you need to go a little bit more in depth, or you want to let a person buy like 4 or 5 things, and then you want to run them through just like 2 or 3 questions one time. In that instance, you might put a form on your collection. Here's an example of a form on a collection. It's a series of questions you can ask. Now, here's something to note. Cheddar Up is going to go ahead and we're going to do, we will gather first and last name and email for you, and we will always send an email confirmation for the payer, okay? If you need additional information like registration information, maybe you need a waiver, you can run those as well on a collection like this if you add on a form, okay? Okay, I want to show you guys the builder now, but I'm going to stop and just take a look at questions as well, and we're going to build a collection like this. Hope we're all doing okay so far. Lots of good questions. Yeah, so on the information blocks, you can only have one location per event. The system's not going to let you do multiple locations, but there are other ways you can work around that depending on what you're trying to do, Hank. If you're running an event with multiple options of locations, you might want to use something we call an item with variations. It would run a little differently than an information block, but it allows you to set up multiple options of a single item. Okay, that is an upgraded feature, and I'll show it to you in a minute when I get to the builder, but that might come into play for you if you know you have several options of a location. Okay, I've just saw a few questions and it looks like Megan's on top of most of them. I stopped to answer one. You guys all doing okay? I'm going to look and see if I can see you. Oh, okay, great. I just looked at everybody for a minute. So it looks like we're all doing all right. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I'm going to go over to the dashboard now. Okay. All right, so I'm back in the dashboard. We looked at all those different use cases. Do you need a sign up? Do you need a form on top of a payment? Do you need a fundraiser? Do you just need a little bit of money gathered on a reunion, right? There's all different things you might be doing when you go to build a collection, but you all have to start in the same place, okay? You're going to come over here, right here, to this orange button, create a collection. And now, here's what I like to call our recipe cards, okay? Maybe you know about what you need to do and you're going to dive into one of these unique collection builders. You're running a fundraiser, you're going to come here. You're gathering money for a group gift or teacher appreciation, and you just want to send everybody gift cards, right? You need a form or a waiver only, not associated with money, okay? You can jump around a little bit on all of these. I'm going to come over here to create your own because I know it has every single feature available in Cheddar Up, and we're not driving you into a recipe card. It's more of a building from scratch experience, okay? I am going to use what we call a template. So Cheddar Up has over 150 different templates you can pick from to get some inspiration. Maybe you're not quite sure where you want to start, and so you might come over here. I like to use a template when I'm in a learning session because it saves me a little bit of time. I can't talk and type all of this in, okay? So where I'm at right now is I just went to use template. What's happening while I speak is the template is getting built in the background, and it's going to open up what we call a collection builder. No matter what you want to do in Cheddar Up, if you want to gather money or information, one or the other, you always have to build a collection, and you're always going to go to a builder, okay? Now, you can jump around in our builders. Say you start on one and you do some exploring and you realize maybe it's not the right one for you. We do have what we call escape hatches. So you can look around and you can see, okay, I actually need to add something else on, or maybe I want to start over. If you're just getting started with us, I do like to say to you, explore a little bit before you go all the way down into a builder and then realized you really wished you had gone in a little different direction, okay? Okay, so I'm in our builder right now. This is a nice one because it's our custom builder, which allows you to add any of these features I've talked about today. And let me talk through a little bit of how the navigation works here. On the far left-hand side, you get pushed through components. Okay, you have details, items, forms, and settings. The bottom is going to give you navigation. These dots are going to show you your progress through the builder. You can jump around. and you can jump around here. But I do always recommend your first few times getting started with us, let the builder progress you forward without jumping around a lot. Okay, they are set up to kind of move you in the right direction. And I just recommend reading and always looking across the top. Okay, so here you'll notice I have a build and I have a publish page. I don't have a manage page. I am going to show you guys a view with money and information gathered. It's not available yet because I haven't published. Okay, I'm on my details section now. Here's where you can add in those banner images. You can add up to 4 banner images. You can include a video, and we even have our own gallery you can pick from. If you're going to run a point of sale event, you don't need as much of this, okay? But if this is going to go online, you want it to be a nice, beautiful web page. So you do want to add in a lot of these components. Okay, details. This is where you put the details on your collection. You can add in attachments. You can play with our text editor to make it look nice. And you can also add in your own links if you need to, okay? Now, we have what we call toggles and settings. You're going to see these all over Cheddar Up. You want that information block with date and time, you turn this toggle on, okay? You don't need it, you turn it off, okay? Same thing here, in-person location, do you have an address? Turn it on, turn it off. Now remember, our builders will drive you into different things. So you may sometimes see some settings and not all of them, depending on the builder you picked, okay? Maybe you want that FAQ section, turn it on or turn it off. If you're on the basic or pro plan and one of these is the features that you want to play with, but you haven't decided yet if you're going to upgrade or not, you're going to see a little star next to it. It's going to tell you it's on pro or team. What's nice is you can turn that setting on and play with it before you have to pay to upgrade. Eventually, though, you'll get to publish and the system's going to say to you, either upgrade or remove those features. But you can play around with a large majority of our features prior to actually paying to upgrade, okay? Okay, so that's your details page, all right? We'll go ahead and hit save, and it's gonna move us in the builder to items. Items are very important, everybody. Do you see the price tag? You can't gather money in Cheddar Up if you don't have an item on a collection. Now, if you run through our peer-to-peer fundraiser builder, it's going to operate a little differently. Other than that, you have to put an item on a collection. If you build from a template, we will put some items on for you, okay? We have lots of options when it comes to your items. These are your recipe. These are your ingredients. Couple of ones to point out. I'm not going to go into all of them today. Scannable ticket. This is an upgraded feature. When you see the word scannable ticket in Cheddar Up, it means that you want to create a QR code and you want a person upon entry to an event to show you their ticket and you're going to scan it with our mobile app. Okay? Sometimes you might call something a ticket, but all you really need is a basic item because you just want a list of people showing up. The scannable ticket is an actual scannable QR code. You can revoke tickets. One person can buy multiple tickets and send them to multiple people. And you do want to use the Cheddar Up app to scan those, okay? Item with variations. I mentioned this earlier to someone that was asking about the different event dates and times. Maybe you're running multiple events and you want to give people options. Item with variations is an upgraded feature, but it's going to let you set up options for an item. For example, you're running a store. You're selling sweatshirts. Sweatshirts come in 3 different sizes, 3 different colors. It can be time consuming to type into the system, small blue sweatshirt, medium blue sweatshirt, large blue sweatshirt, small pink sweatshirt, medium pink sweatshirt, right? Those are all your different options. That gets to be complex with logic. You can use our item with variations.
Hi, how are you?
To set some of that up for you. Question? I think we're good. Okay, donation item. Say on a donation item, you know you're trying to gather donations from people and you want very specific features and settings on that item, like open-ended amounts, different kind of suggestions for people. you can pick donation item, okay? The one I'm going to spend some time on right now is our basic item. This is where you usually start with Cheddar Up, okay? A basic item is just anything you know you need to gather money on and you want to put that in front of a payer. Now you can name the item, you can assign it to a category, and you have something here that I think is really cool. You have different amount types. You know people need to buy something from you and you want to set the amount. You're not going to give them an option, fixed amount. You want to let them type in the number, but maybe give them a few suggestions. Okay, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 50 bucks. I saw somebody do this on sponsorships. They did an open amount, but they set a minimum amount. So they said, for example, I'm running a sponsorship program. I want people to set I want to set a minimum tier 1 sponsor at $250 and my second tier is going to be at $500. But maybe someone wants to give me $375 and I don't want to leave any money on the table. You could use in that instance an open amount with a suggested amount and a minimum amount added to that. Okay? So you start very simple with our amounts and then you have room to grow with some of these different feature sets. Free. This is very nice. Sometimes you still almost need to track inventory on an item, but you aren't actually going to charge for it. So you can put an item as free. And then also we have something called a recurring plan. Do you need to do an automatic payment and you want to set it up to recur? Maybe you're running tuition. Maybe you want to get a donor into a repeat donation situation. Maybe you're a sports team and you have a high cost item and you want to break it up for dues. Maybe you're a reunion and something's expensive because you're all taking a cruise together, right? Up to you how you want to manage that, but you might want to do a recurring plan. If you do a recurring plan, you can set up the terms for that recurring item by months or weeks. And if you wanted to do years, you do 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. Okay? Okay. Now on every item, please note you have a description. You can add in images. And then this is helpful to note too. We have settings. So remember I told you to look across when you're in Cheddar Up, you look down and you look across. I'm moving across right now on an item. You can add in, you can fine tune the button for add to cart. You can set an available quantity. You can do a per person quantity. You can make something required. You can even do something as tax deductible and then send a tax deductible receipt. You do need to be a verified 501c3 to do that, and you do need to be on the team plan. Okay, questions on items. You need to gather information. They drop it into the shopping cart. You don't know which teacher to deliver this to. You don't know an address. You don't know, I don't know. There's lots of things you might not know about these people. But if you put a question on an item, you can ask personal details, personal questions related to something that you're selling. But remember, it'll be associated with each item they drop in. So you could have 5 items and each item has different questions. You might need that. You might not. Don't do overkill. You might want to look at forms too. Okay? All right. Everybody doing okay with gathering money? You have to put an item on a collection to gather money. Okay. I'm letting Megan handle the questions because there's a lot of them. I'm sure they're good. Okay. Let's look at forms now. Okay.
Hey, Heather.
Yeah.
One thing, one person did ask if you could just go through adding a banner image.
Mm. Sure. Let me show you guys real quick. Okay, so banner images on details. I don't have one saved right now, so I can get only so far on this. I'm going to come to this edit button. Right here, I'm going to click on add image, and now I have some options, okay? I can select a photo. If I want to use Cheddar Up's gallery, I'm going to go right here to select from gallery. If I have my own photo saved on my computer, I'll go to Browse Device Files. If you're a partner organization, you can have your partner org set up where there might be an album for them to choose from, okay? I can also go to my old images in my own album, all right? So that's how you add an image onto a collection on the details section, and this is a banner image. We can also add images onto individual items too. Thanks, Megan. I know I'm running kind of fast, so lots of things to cover today, so I appreciate that. Okay, let's look here real quick at forms. I'm moving past items, which is gathering money, and we're looking at forms now. Okay, I see who didn't find the basic item, set one up, and didn't see the free option. Hank, you probably missed it. You go back to the item, and then you
Yeah.
need to go down, and you should see
All right. I'm
amount
still on.
types. What's that? Did you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to talk about information gathering now, okay? If you've known Cheddar Up for a while, we just did a little tweak to this and I'm loving it. It's a really exciting small change. You can build forms or waivers in Cheddar Up, or you can build signups. You can run these alone or you can run them with payments. Sign up schedule. You have a schedule. You need times. You need dates. Sign up list. One name, one item, one person. One item, one person. Very simple. Okay. Oh, got it. Thanks, Leslie. Yeah, there's lots of people jumping on. Okay, so that's a sign up schedule or a sign up list. Form or waiver. Okay, this is a big one because you might need these in all different ways. Okay, sometimes people run forms and waivers separate from payments, and sometimes they associate them on a collection with payments. You do want to think a little bit about how you organize your collections when you know you need both, okay? But here's a couple of things that are nice to understand. Yes, the sign up schedule is available on the free version. Yes. Okay, here's a couple of things to understand. When you're building a form, you can add in all of these different questions, okay? You can upload a file. Maybe you're running sponsors again and you want to get a logo or something. Maybe you're running a reunion and you want everybody to submit a couple photos. You can add on file upload. That is an upgraded feature. You can also capture waiver text. You can put your own waiver text. So you already have a waiver, you've got the legal document, you've got all the legal jargon, you're going to copy it, you're going to drop it into our waiver text section, and then underneath that, you can capture e-signatures. That is compliant with the e-sign act, okay? Those are upgraded features as well. These are all the different ways you can add a form to a collection. I hope you guys are bearing with me because I'm going to get to the manage page, okay? I appreciate that. Okay, I'm moving on past forms and signups, and I'm going to come over to settings. This is the last thing you need to look at before you publish. Please remember, stick with the components in order when you're in a builder to get started. Okay, couple of things to note. Automatically, if you're going to gather money in Cheddar Up, yep, I will hit support, I promise. I always cover that at the end. When you're gathering money in Cheddar Up, we're going to automatically turn credit card on. You can also choose to turn on an e-check transaction, which means the individual could connect to their bank account and transfer money, and you can choose to allow cash or check if you want to. Now, I'll show you our fees in a minute. There are fees on credit card and e-check transactions. Please note, they automatically go to the payer, not to you, the organizer. We will give you options though. If for ever any reason you want to absorb those fees, you can. You can turn this on. You can also decide, oops, I think I might have toggled the wrong one on, excuse me. You can also decide right here under fees, you could also decide just to cover only e-check fees if you wanted to. And you could cover the fees and still ask the payer to help you out. But please note, by default, they go to the payer, not to you. Now, if you want to see those fees, they're on our pricing page. Okay, so again, everything's transparent with us. You just go to pricing, you scroll down to payments and withdrawals, and you'll see the fee structure here for credit card, e-check, and obviously you can take cash or check. We're not going to charge for that, okay? Okay, customized payer receipt. If you need what they see in their inbox customized, you can do that. You can put taxes as well on a collection. If you need to gather money, if you need to gather taxes on individual items, okay? No, the fees are not on top of credit card processing fees. That's what I'm covering are the credit card processing fees, okay? E-check upgrade, pro or team. Maybe you need to use this for shipping. You can print UPS labels with us if you need to. You can run discounts as well. And then we also have access where you can lock things down with codes and things like that. You can put timers on things. And again, you can add on those managers to be point of contact people for you. Okay. Okay. I go through all those settings and I'm ready to publish. Credit card processor is Stripe. Okay. Right here now, I hit publish. You don't have a link until you publish. If you played with a feature that was upgraded, this is where you're going to have to make the decision. Do you want to upgrade or are you going to remove that feature? Up to you. We'll point it out to you though, okay? I'm on Teams, so I've got access to everything. Right there, I went ahead and I published, and now I've got my link. Look it, I just got a new page. It says share. You can grab this link. You can edit it. Maybe you don't like the URL. You can tweak it. You can use Cheddar Up. I didn't go into this today, but we have an address book and message center. You can build contact lists. You can segment your contact list. You can share invitations, reminders, and messages related to Cheddar Up collections using our address book if you want. You can create your own website button and generate your own little piece of code if you want. QR code, everybody loves this, right? QR code, you generate a QR code, people can scan it and they easily can access that collection. Something else, a keyword. Maybe you want to make it easy for people to get a collection on their phone through mobile. You would generate a keyword, people would text that to a number and they'll get it. If you guys want to stick around, I'll talk a little bit more about point of sale if you want me to. This is something called an event code for all those helpers that are going to take money for you. I'll show you that a little towards the end, but I'm going to let people off the hook if they don't want to deal with that. Okay, that's how you share a collection. Then it's out in the world and people are going to pay you and submit information. Guys, all doing okay? Because we're going to look at a manage view. Oh, I got a head nod. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Okay. She's still alive. She's doing all right. It's 12. She's doing great. Okay, let's go over here. Look at a manage view. Okay. So here, let's see what a collection looks like with money on it. Megan, anything I need to stop for? I think you got it all covered. Okay, I see the thumbs up. Okay, so we're on the manage view now. You will not get a manage view until you publish. Now, this is where you spend a lot of your time when money and information is submitted. You can come back to edit whenever you want. Maybe you want to hide an item that sells out. You can do that, okay? But otherwise, you're going to come here. You're going to see what we call a balance summary. Your balance summary is going to show you how much money you've collected on this specific collection thus far. When you're ready to transfer money, this is one place you can go. We have 3 different ways you can transfer your money. The first thing is you do need to have a United States checking account associated with your Cheddar Up account. There will be some identity verification. That is a federal law that we're compliant with to reduce fraud on any of these, okay? After that, you can choose an instant transfer. You'll get the money in 60 minutes or less, small fee. Transfer to bank, 1 to 3 business days, no fees. You choose when you want to transfer and you choose how much. You can also have as many checking accounts as you want on a single account. So you can divert money to different checking accounts if you need to. Transfer to gift card. This is a great feature. I just used it the other day because I organized coaches' gifts for my swim team, my kids' swim team. You can transfer money to gift cards and you can send a certain amount to each recipient and then they can just go pick from a gift card. Okay, 150 different gift cards. The last thing you can do every once in a while, you might take all your money off of a collection. You need to put it back on. You can fund a collection too. Okay, let me show you what payers look like. You're going to have a view called payments. If you don't have any money on this collection, because you're only running forms, you won't see this. Otherwise, you're going to see your payers here. If you run point of sale, that means that you don't want to capture their first and last name because you're selling pizza. We won't capture that. You can skip it if you want, up to you. Otherwise, here's what you're going to see. You're going to see what we call a payer, and you have an order summary on everybody. Resend receipts if you need to. Edit. Maybe they typed in their name wrong. You need to fix it. Fix their email. Put an internal note that you can see related to the payer. Process refunds. See answers to questions on items and also see answers to questions on forms. Okay? That's an order summary. I want to show you guys another report. 1 second here. You can see your items broken up. You can see your forms as well. You can download individual responses. Now, I want to show everybody a really important report, and I'm going to touch on customer support. So I hope you have 2 extra minutes. Apologies, I went a tiny bit over. And I can stay on longer, don't worry. Okay, this is called a collection summary report. It's on your Manage View Reporting Collection Summary. This is where you go when you want to see everything in a spreadsheet format. Okay, let me pull this up for you. I always tell people when you are trying to find information and you want it in a spreadsheet, this is the first place you go in Cheddar Up, and then go over to our reporting page. Here's what you get: a summary. You can see your individual payments. If you scroll over to the far right, you get answers to questions on forms. Okay? Item summary. Every item you sold is broken up. You can see your quantities, your refunds amounts, all of that. And then we're going to take each individual item and give you your own separate tab. If you put a question on an item, here's where you'll find your answers. Okay? This is called your collection summary report. Okay, I'm slowing down because I'm getting to the end. Okay, couple other things I want to just mention real quick. And please keep on dropping your questions into Megan, and I'm going to stop and I can answer questions too. Help. Okay, I am so happy you came to see me on a Tuesday afternoon. I know you're not always going to do this. I wish you would because I enjoy this, but you might not. So Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, you can start a chat with us. Megan is on this call. She's one of the people answering our chat. It's a real live person. If they don't answer, maybe they're talking to somebody else. Maybe they got up to use the restroom, but they will be there. Please chat with them. They can do a couple of things. They can screen share with you, and they can look at your collections and answer specific questions. I do recommend you get a little bit down the way you're on your own and then check in with them, okay? You can also reach us through the email address friendlysupport@cheddarup.com. We have talked today. I do recommend you go there, probably not to my inbox because I don't see everything. If you come over here to Friendly Support, it does start a ticket and we're going to keep a back and forth with you, okay? Something else you can do is we have a knowledge center. Please make sure you check it out. Come over here to help and inspiration. And then 2 things, feedback and knowledge center. Our knowledge center is where you go to look up information once you've been with us for a while. If you're trying to decide if we're a good solution or not, please go to YouTube. Come here if you need to learn a little bit more about specific features. I talked about point of sale. We have a lot of good stuff there in point of sale. And we also have some really nice peer-to-peer features. You can do a tax letter if you want. And basically you can do a tax verified, a tax deductible receipt if you want, but you do need to be upgraded to team. Okay. What else? I'm sure I missed something. There's always more to talk about. If people want me to look at point of sale right now, I can do that. Please go ahead. If you want to drop questions in, I'll help answer them. Megan will answer them. We're 1:02, so I realize I'm 2 minutes over. You will get a copy of this, a recording. And I appreciate that you took the time to hop on when we sent out that note. You never quite know how an email is going to go over, and it was great. We got a lot of people today. So I really enjoyed spending time with you. If you have questions, guys, go ahead and drop them. Okay, I'll hit point of sale. If you don't, and you're done, you can leave. You're not going to offend me if you just hang up and go on with your day. And I will show a little bit of point of sale right now. Good questions.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to move over to point of sale. So give me a quick second. I want to show you one thing that's helpful to understand in point of sale. There's two things I like to point out to people. Any collection in Cheddar Up can be run as a point of sale collection. All you do is download the Cheddar Up mobile app, iTunes or Apple Store, and you pull the collection up on the mobile app. Now, I'm going to show you what that looks like in a screen, in a deck in a second. But there's something else here on your share page. Okay. You come over here to share and you go to share an event code and you get a unique code for your point of sale helpers. When I say point of sale helpers, that's like the person that says, hey, I can help you out on Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. and I can run concessions for you. I can run, any sort of I can run the boutique store, whatever you want to do, right? Tell those helpers, great, I'm glad you're going to help. Before you come, I need you to download the Cheddar Up mobile app. You don't need to make an account or anything. Just go ahead and download the app for me. They say, okay. Now they come to their shift. You say, hey, I'm glad you're here. Did you put the app on your phone? They say, yes. Then you say, here's an event code. I want you to scan this QR code for me real quickly. They will scan this QR code, and this is different than the collection QR code. It's an event code QR code. It's going to open up the Cheddar Up mobile app. Okay? Okay, can you guys all see this screen?
Mhm.
I'm going to show
Yes.
you. So that's the event code. Now, I'm on the Cheddar Up mobile app. My event code pops up, and I'm going to be asked my name and my email. I'm your helper. We're going to capture their name and email for you so you know who's taking your payments that day. Okay? Then, after they submit their name and email to you, you're going to see this on your end. Now they can take a payment or they could scan a ticket. They just click on the orange button that says Take Payments. Oops. And then they immediately, pardon me, I've got an extra slide in here. They hit Take Payments, and then they see the items that you put on the collection. Okay? Now, all of these slides you're seeing, we have a 3-minute video in our Knowledge Center and on YouTube called Point of Sale, and you'll see the whole flow. Okay? That person will select these items, and then they'll go to the checkout. Now, they can take credit card, they can take a cash or check, okay? And they have some receipt information. You could turn the phone at this time to the payer. You could also skip gathering first and last name and email. It's what information do you need from your payers and how fast do you want to move them through the checkout point of sale process. Okay. You might say to your volunteers, just ask if they want a receipt. If they do, give them the phone and they can type an email. Up to you how you want to manage that. If you don't fill this out, you won't get that payer name or email on your manage view. Okay. Once they click on Pay Now, if they have a card reader, they're going to see Search for Card Reader, and this will connect via Bluetooth to the card reader. If they don't, they're just going to do Tap on Mobile. Okay. They go ahead and they hit Tap on Mobile, and now a screen pops up, and they can just take the credit card of the payer, whether it's an Android or an iOS, and they can just quickly tap on mobile and gather that money. Okay. After they do that, if you wanted the blue card reader, the Bluetooth card reader, you could consider whether or not you want to order these from us. If you need the link to ordering card readers, I bet you Megan can drop that for me. If you just did tap on mobile, they're going to get this orange done, and then they can take a new payment. Okay? And that's how it works. Any collection you create in Cheddar Up can be used as a point of sale collection. The only thing I like to say to you, the organizer, don't put a whole bunch of questions on a point of sale collection because the questions will pop up. So you do want to kind of build it in mind, knowing that you're going to run it as point of sale. Okay? That's our point of sale. You can also use this for ticket scanning too. Very similar process. You just hit the scan tickets instead. Okay, I'm looking
Heather,
at questions. Go ahead. Yep.
Matt was asking about inventory
I
management
saw
on
that. Yeah,
point
let
of
me
sale
see.
or otherwise.
I'll jump over to that in a second. Anybody? What about
Thank you.
taking open amount on point of sale? You can do that. You can just put on your point of sale collection, just what I should say is on your collection that you're going to use for point of sale, just put an item on, make it open amount. If it's open amount, when the volunteer or you go to take that order, you will, as the payer, you will, as the helper, need to type in the amount. Okay. So it will be a question on there. You will just type that in for them, but you can do it easily. Okay. Reader, is it one used by all helpers? Megan, help me on this, but thank you. An individual should each have their own card reader. It's Bluetooth technology. So I've got my phone up, right? I'm here. I need to connect this to this. The two are paired together. Okay. So you would need multiple card readers if you want them. Again, tap on mobile works very well. So I always say to people, start with tap on mobile, grow into the card readers. We do have people that love our card readers and they order multiple ones of them, but lots of people do typically start with tap on mobile. Um, I'll look for we have an article and I think, Megan, are the card readers 79? Yep. They're 79 plus shipping. Yep. Okay. That's for one, Gregory. Yes. One card reader, 79. Yep. Okay. Any other point of sale collection questions? Because then I will look a little bit about inventory. So Virginia, um, you, the organizer, need to think a little bit about how you run your collections. Okay. Some people, you're right, a point of sale collection does not need to be a separate collection. The same collection you share anywhere in the online world can also be a point of sale collection. It's up to you. You're right. It's using the app and the event code on any collection. Correct. The only thing I like to say to people is sometimes if you put a big collection out there, it's meant for the online world and it's got all these questions after items and things like that. Those don't always translate as well to a point of sale collection. So you might, sometimes people will make a copy of an online collection, they'll label it point of sale, and they'll take off all those extra questions that maybe they were trying to gather on their online collection. But you are correct. Any collection can be used as point of sale. You just use the app and the event code. You, the organizer, might want to think a little bit about how you manage all that, but you can do any collection in that way. Okay, any other point of sale collections that I might have missed? Looking. Okay, I do see a question, Kirsty, about the check or cash. Yeah, so if you want to run cash or check, every collection has a setting that's available on all subscription plans that you turn on or off. If you run point of sale, we automatically give you a cash or check option. But there's also a setting for an online payment if you want to accept cash or check. You just want to make sure that you have that setting turned on if you're running it online. If you're running point of sale, you can fill it all out. Like say your volunteer goes through, they type in, I don't know, cheddar Cheetos, they type in tacos, it's Taco Tuesday, right? They're typing all that in. And then the person gives them the cash. They'll still process it through the point of sale app. They'll just select cash or check right here. And then that will show up on your manage view as a cash or check payment. And there's one thing you need to do. You need to check it off as received. Then that money will be counted for you, even though it was an offline transaction. Yep, you're right. So yeah, you would want to record it if you want to put all of it in the same place. You're right. You're exactly right. Yes, that's exactly how I would handle it, Kirsty. Okay. So many good questions. I Okay. I can talk a little bit about inventory. Let me see what I can find on my collections. I think I have one that I call like a spirit wear one, and that one has some inventory on it. Give me a second. Sales, it might be here. Yeah, thought I had one with some money on it too. Give me one more second because I think I have one with a little money on it. Maybe not. I can look for it a little further if you want, but let me show you some examples of inventory. Okay, so this is a collection with items that we're selling in a store. Okay. There's lots of different options when it comes to inventory. It depends how complex you want to get with us. You can do what I mentioned before as an item with variations. So that's what this is. This is where you're setting up a single item with multiple options. Okay. So in this one, it was kind of like that example I was talking about before with an item of clothing. It comes in multiple colors and sizes. Okay. Now, this is one instance where you could set an available quantity and track that quantity. Now, there are a few settings you're going to want to turn on and off. Okay. You do want to let people know here, this is a quantity selector. If you're going to let them select more than one of something, you're going to want to make sure you have that turn on. If you're going to run the wait list on every item you sell, you can turn a wait list on or off. So that's up to you. Okay. There is something else. We have another feature, and Megan, I'm going to struggle on the name of it. It's a group item variant, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about no. Group item variants. So if you have so many sweatshirts in large, but
Yep.
you've got that kind of, so you can lump them together so that you've got nine, well, like there are 89 remaining across all three variants.
Yes. So that's an upgraded feature. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find an example of it right now, and I don't think I have it on here. We can also do this on tickets. Let's say, for example, you know you're selling out a space. You've got 100 seats altogether, but you know that you want to sell student tickets or child tickets at a lesser price than an adult ticket, but you know someone's bottom is going to be in that seat, so you need an overall number, right? So that is a feature you can do on tickets and you can do on our items, and I'm struggling to find it mapped out here. But if you're getting very involved on some of your item groupings, you might need that. Did you just drop it into
Yeah, scroll down. If you scroll down, you should see it.
great. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Megan dropped that in. Okay, so if there's other questions I can answer, I notice people are starting to drop off. We're about 15 minutes over time. I'll admit I'm getting a little tired, but I do appreciate that you guys have all hopped on. So if there's a burning question right now, please go ahead and drop it. Last thing I'm just going to say to you, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. If you want to sit through this again, come. I'll be here, okay? If you want to have questions answered, come on a Thursday and I do an Ask Anything. Okay. In that instance, I just let people ask their questions and I don't do the full walkthrough. All right. It can get a little busy though. It depends. So I do know I have a lot of people signed up for this Thursday because of that email that we sent out. But I'm here every Tuesday, every Thursday. And the other thing is, if you don't want to hop on and talk to me, start a chat. You've got Megan and a couple other lovely individuals on our team that will work with you. Okay. You are all going to get this sent to you via video so you can watch it yourself. And always go and check out our YouTube channel too, as well.
Is there
Okay.
inventory fulfillment for pre-orders? So if someone ordered, let's say, a wreath, and we do 1,000 wreath sales, and they're all supposed to pick it up at a later date, like someone's coming, they give their name, they give the wreath. Is there order pending and then order fulfilled? Or like we do a barbecue sale, the same thing. So when
Yeah.
the inventory management and point of sale, it would be critical for us to be able to know what's been pre-ordered and what's actually been distributed or delivered, if you will, for lack of a better word.
Yes. What most people do in that instance, you still want them to pay up front, right? You're not going to take an order without the money. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct. So a lot of things that so some of our fundraising events, let's say we do, this is for a scout troop. We do an annual barbecue sale. We start taking pre-orders 4 weeks in advance,
Mm-hmm.
and they pick up on the day of the Super Bowl. So
Yes.
there's basically people in the kitchen, if you will, and things that are standing by, and they have a list of all the orders. Currently, it's done in Square. The people come up, they give their name, they go back, they move it
Yep.
from pending to fulfilled. The orders
Yep.
delivered out, it comes off the list, right? And so they kind of go through the and so I'm being asked by our organizer, um, can we do that with Cheddar Up? Can does it have the ability? And then when we're sold out, they'll actually go into the inventory on the fly and just change quantity to zero. And then that lets basically the point of sale people that are upselling different sides and things that they can't do
Yep.
that anymore.
Yeah, this will do the exact same thing for you. As long as you set your quantity amount, you can start selling it 4 weeks in advance and you can keep on selling up till the day of, right? What will happen then is you'll see the number drop. The number will drop automatically for you as an item is sold. You'll have two ways that you can mark that. Some people on the day of an event, they'll print out that collection summary and they'll use that to mark people off as they come through. Other times you might want to go ahead and there's the individual spot where you can edit on an individual payment or an order. People will use that often as fulfillment. There are also PDF, depending on what you're selling, right? Like if it's a wreath sale and you want to have all the things set up ahead of time, we do have even a PDF form that you can print out for every single item you've sold. So you could even have that PDF sitting on each individual wreath. And then maybe you're going to line people up by last name or something, right? Those are all pre-sold as well. And that is under it's on the manage view. And I don't know, I don't have money on this one, but you can come over here to a payments summary. I think it's here, and there's right here, printable payment summaries. Okay. So what this will do for every single payment you have in the system, you can create basically a PDF and it'll work for you as an invoice and a packing slip too. So, and I
Thank
don't
you.
have that exact collection in front of me, but that would be one feature that I would want you to play with. Okay, anything else I can answer for people? Otherwise, we're gonna let it go here. So awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Again, my name is Heather, customer support here over at Cheddar Up. You've got Megan as well on the call. She's going to wave because that's Megan. You might not see her. You're going to chat with her again, though. And I do appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for responding to an email and hopping on. And again, we're here throughout. So don't worry about not getting everything today. Get started, try the basics, start to play around a little bit, and then reach out to us. We'll answer questions. Okay? Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I'm going to go ahead and end this conversation now. So have a great day. Take care.